So guys, you know when somebody lays like this under their car and they're just staring up at the world, wondering, why do we do these things? Why do we have cars? Why do we bother? What's up guys, welcome back to another video on Bullitt's Garage. Today we are upgrading the rear differential mount on my M5 because we don't want that thing to snap just like this.
Which in itself wasn't very nice. Oh, whoa. It's not safe.
What the hell was that?
Which in itself wasn't very nice. Which in itself wasn't very nice. Oh, whoa. It's not safe.
What the hell was that?
Which in itself wasn't very nice. Oh, whoa. It's not safe.
What?
And today our helper is Riri, beautiful sweet baby girl. She is 4 months and a week old, babysitting here. Charlie's over there, and the hardest working dog is sleeping right in there. You having a good time? All right, you just keep up the hard work, okay? All right, so let's go right into it. My brother keeps complaining that I drag these videos out and I don't get to the point. So let's get to the point, guys. Okay. You know, I got ahead of myself. I started working and I forgot to film. But it's okay. I didn't do much work. Basically, we are underneath the car here. All right. Let me put you down and show you everything that's cooking here. So, we have the rear differential, rear M differential. Riri, put that down. I took off one bolt, this one right here. This bolt right here that basically holds the entire diff is right here, okay? So I took that off. Riri is behind the camera, so 21 millimeter both sides. You undo that and that comes out. I supported the diff, of course, because you need it to be supported so it doesn't fall down. And then there's two 18 millimeters on both sides here. One right here and one back there. And I'm not sure if there's one on top there, but I'm gonna find out. But basically, yeah, I have the diff supported in two places and I'm just gonna start undoing these bolts nice and easy. All right, so I'm going little by little. This bolt is super hard to get off, so I'm just gonna get this piece off so I could have better access. You know, we're not trying to strip anything. The part that I ordered is not coming in until probably Thursday from a local F10 member. So no need to rush it. Okay. All right, so after a lot of slow going, I got this bad boy out. I'm guessing these are loaded with Loctite because this thing did not want to come out. So go slow with these. And yeah, the next one is going to be even harder because it's right there in between the mount and the exhaust, which is very tight. So I'll see what kind of adapters I could use to get it in there, but it's going to be even harder to get out than that, because that I have a lot of room to move the wrench. Here it's going to be very tight, so slow and steady. So guys, you know when somebody lays like this under their car and they're just staring up at the world, wondering, why do we do these things? Why do we have cars? Why do we bother? Well, I was about to be in that position. Right, boo boo? Oh, your baby, you're your baby. I was about to be in that position. Hi, Charlie. Emotional support dogs right here, guys. This is what happens when you lay flat like this. You get emotional support from your babies. All right, I was about to give up on this job because it is probably harder than installing the downpipes on the car. I shit you not, with how tight these freaking bolts are. To undo 4 bolts, I've been dealing with this for probably an hour and a half because it's just so freaking tight on there. The bolts are like filled with not anti-seize, with Loctite. But let me show you what's cooking here. All right, so this bolt was super easy to get out. This bolt was pretty damn hard. I torched this side and it was a lot easier. This top sucker up there, that was the one. If I didn't have my impact, and there's no way I would be able to get this out. But I think I just got everything loose. Let me see if I could just wiggle this thing out here with you guys visualizing it. All right, so I got that off. I need to see if I could get my tool off of there, because this bolt won't come out if I don't get my tool off. There we go. Oops. All right, don't be screwing things here. All right, I got my bolt out. Look how long these bolts are, guys. Sheesh. And now this just slides on out. All right. And this is a pretty hefty piece. It's crazy to see that these things snap in half and cause all these problems on the car. But essentially, let me have a look how everything's looking here. So you got one bolt on here, one right there, and then this one that holds right here. So let me just look at these threads. Yeah, there's definitely Loctite in there. So I'm going to be chasing these threads first with my thread chaser, because there's no way these new bolts are going to go in there smoothly. But this is it. I got the diff. The diff is supported right now with my jack here. I'm going to put, yeah, I mean, this is supported. It's not going anywhere. The diff is not that heavy. It's not that heavy. I mean, I could move it up and down a little bit, so it's not that bad. Let me get my tool out of here. So basically, let me show you how I had to MacGyver this freaking tool up in here. I'm telling you, if this thing was any longer or bigger, there would have been no chance in hell of me getting to it. But this was the lifesaver right here, guys. All right, guys, so while we wait for the new part to arrive, this here is a culprit. And, you know, the bushing looks fine. The bushing is not the failing point here. The failing point is this casting piece right up here. Because as you could see how thin it is between here and here, absolutely thin. And what it does, if you're pushing a lot of torque and you launch the car, it goes, what happens is it goes snap, the whole diff drops, your axles that are connected here, they shear, then your actual drive shaft takes a dump, and then your whole diff explodes. And that job, if that happens, is upwards of 12K. So I am pushing way more torque now, and I like to slide the car around from time to time. So I would like to upgrade this piece, and I'm going to be installing the German Auto Works Billit piece, which is going to come in a few days. For you guys, it's going to be the same video, but that's going to be what I'm going to be doing. The only drawback to that bushing, which we'll talk about when it comes time, but it doesn't have a, you know, OEM bushing like this, polyurethane. It has a Durlin bushing. Basically, it's a solid mount, more or less. So hopefully we're not going to get too much NVH increase or diff whine resonating through it, but time will tell. I mean, I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of extra noise like diff whine. People said shifting out of park or going from drive to reverse, you might have a little bit more clunk, but that's just because this, you know, it's going to be a solid mount, so that's going to be expected. But I'll be back with you guys when the piece arrives. So let me throw this little tidbit of information. So the original bolt is a M 1.5, is it M10? Or sorry, 12 by 1.25 millimeters. So that's what I'm going to use to chase those threads out. As you can see, focus. That's what I'm going to use to chase the threads out in there so they're nice and clean before we install the new bolts with the new Loctite. Right, it is 2 days later. Monday, I took off the old mount. It is Wednesday, I got back from work, and our new mount has arrived. Super quick shipping. Let's have a look here, comparing. So this is what they call a Durlin bushing. It's basically a pretty solid piece of plastic, so you can see there's not going to be any deflection, and this is what's going to possibly cause some differential whine or some clunking when shifting. But if you have yourself a good look here, look how freaking solid, absolutely solid this thing is. I mean, it is about 1 inch thick right here, okay? Inch thick compared to this tiny little thing that snaps in half. So we have the all-important instructions that everybody says to read accordingly and do it step by step. So I'm going to read through these first. I have all the supplied bolts. Let me open these up and show you. We have all the supplied bolts and washers, the supplied Loctite that they want us to use. So these are supposedly 12.9 grade steel bolts. It's no longer a 18 millimeter. They are a Allen key now. So yeah, let me read through the instructions, get under the car and mount this baby up and see how it goes. Okay, so instructions, I read through them. You know, these German instructions are just annoying because the way they have everything listed out, but by the looks of things, it looks the 3 bolts that connect the mount to the differential, they look to be 120 Newton meters, which is about 88 foot-pounds of torque. And then the main bolt that connects to the body, which is this long one right here, is 175 Newton meters. So plan of attack, it doesn't specify like which bolts to tighten first, anything like that. So what I'm gonna do is get under there and just a quick weight comparison. Okay. Slightly heavier, the Billit one, but that's to be expected because there's way more metal. I wouldn't say probably like a pound or probably like 2 or 3 pounds heavier, but definitely worth it. So let me get under there, start mounting these babies with this Loctite, and we'll see how it goes. Guys, right off the bat, it's terrible lighting conditions in here, so you guys are just gonna have to deal with me. It's not going to be the best video because it's tight and I need to be moving around here, so I will try to get everything as best as I can for you, but just letting you know it is not going to be easy. So, and it's not going to be great video quality, so just bear with me, okay? All right, so I think I'm just going to start with mocking this up, making sure everything's going to align for us. All right, that's looking good. That's looking more or less good. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna start by just putting the 2 side bolts in loosely, put the top bolt in loosely, get those snug down, and then do this last bolt here. And I mean, what else is there to it, right? So let me get some work done and I'll be back. All right, small update. I was halfway to mounting this, and then I realized the bolt lengths are a little bit different. The shorter bolt goes into the top mount here. The 2 longer bolts go on the side. Key advice, don't mess that up, because then you would think that you have your mount tightened, but you actually won't if you use the wrong bolt in the wrong size. So keep that in mind, guys. But other than that, it's pretty easy. Just kind of mock it up and slowly tighten it down. So quick update. I have all 3 of the bolts installed. You can see the top one. It's hard to see the top one, but it's in there. So now what I did was I tightened the top bolt all the way because the mount had kind of played up and down. So I tightened that first, then I tightened these 2 down, and now I'm going to get the torque wrench and tighten them all to 120 Newton meters or 88.3 foot-pounds of torque. So let me get the wrench and see how that goes. These 2 are going to be easy to get to and torque. The top one's going to be tough, but I should be able to do it no problem, sneaking it in from the top just like I did with my impact to remove that bolt. So let's see how it goes. 120 Newton meters is not that much, so it shouldn't be that hard to torque down. Let's see. There you go, 120 Newton meters. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now for this side, so as you could kind of see, so it's touching this mount right here, so it's not perfectly straight. So I'm gonna just drop the diff ever so slightly on the jack, so that way we could just get this in nice and good. I mean, I think it should be fine like that, but I want this job to be perfect, so I'm not taking any chances. All right, guys, I know it's not the best angle, but I got it just so enough. There's enough clearance here. So let me torque this sucker down. So that the diff is not just hanging around. Okay, I'm gonna now what do you guys think? You should be happy with that? I think I'm happy with that. So let me take this bad boy out and let's get the last bolt on top. Before I do that, let me pick the diff up slightly so it's not hanging too much. But yeah, okay. Let's see what we can figure out with that top bolt. two bottom bolts are torqued. The top bolt, impossible to torque because there's no room. I could get my torque wrench up there, but when I try to move it, I have like legit this much amount of space and there's not enough teeth on there to torque it. So I am MacGyvering anything I can to try to fit it. I mean, I did use my impact gun, the one that I used to take the bolt off, and I kind of ugga the shit out of it to get it to tighten, but it didn't tighten more than it did by hand. So this is the last idea that I came up with. We'll see. I'm just gonna more or less put this on the bottom bolt that I have torqued and see how much force it's actually taking to get it to that torque, more or less, and I'll try to match it on top and call it good, because without dropping the rear diff, there's no way to torque that top bolt. So here we go. All right, after a lot of struggling trying to torque that top mount or top bolt, everything is assembled, shield is put together. The way I tightened that top was using my flexible little wiggly thing on top of this, and I was able to have enough room, and I just snugged it down as hard as I could. It wouldn't go anymore. And that's it. I'm gonna put this baby down, clean this giant mess up, and go for a ride and see how it is. All right, guys, sad to say, I'm not happy with the mount. Solid bushing is not the way to go here. So much noise. The diff whine is extremely noticeable. Downshifting, it clunks. Yeah, you're just hearing crazy noises out of the rear end. Not good at all. I do not like it at all, guys. You can hear that on camera. You can hear the whine. It's just not something that I could live with on the daily. Absolutely no freaking way. Yeah, this is not gonna make it. Getting on and off the throttle quickly, you feel the jerkiness. Yeah, this has got to go, man. That absolutely freaking sucks that I have to take this apart after spending all this freaking time doing it. This a freaking pointing. Alright, I'll catch you guys on the next video, but pretty much I'm gonna be swapping this thing back to stock, because this is just not something that I could live with on the daily. It's absolutely stupid how uncomfortably loud it is. So yeah, a lot of time and effort and money wasted, but hopefully, you know, it's basically a brand new part, so hopefully we can recoup that back and just go with the RK way.